Britain accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of dragging his feet in ceasefire talks aimed at halting his country's invasion of Ukraine and demanded a swift response from Moscow after weeks of U.S. efforts to secure a truce. "Our judgment is that Putin continues to obfuscate, continues to drag his feet," British Foreign Secretary David Lammy told reporters at NATO headquarters, standing alongside his French counterpart Jean-Noel Barrot in a symbolic show of unity. According to Assosicted Press, Lammy said that while Putin should be accepting a ceasefire, he continues to bombard Ukraine, its civilian population, its energy supplies. "We see you, Vladimir Putin. We know what you are doing." Russia has effectively rejected a U.S. proposal for a full and immediate 30-day halt in the fighting. A Kremlin official said Monday that Moscow views efforts to end its more than 3-year war with Ukraine as a drawn-out process. Britain and France are helping to lead a multinational effort known as the Coalition of the Willing to set up a force that might police any future peace agreement in Ukraine. A senior Ukrainian official said earlier this week that between 10 and 12 countries have said they are ready to join the coalition. Meanwhile, the war of attrition continued to claim civilian lives. A Russian Shahid drone struck a residential area of Kharkiv late Thursday, killing 5 people and injuring 32, according to Mayor Ihor Terekhov.
And as we have heard, it is still the case that our judgment is that Putin continues to obfuscate, continues to drag his feet. He could accept a ceasefire now. He continues to bombard Ukraine, its civilian population, its energy supplies. We see you, Vladimir Putin. We know what you are doing. And that is why we are pledged to continue to put Ukraine in the strongest possible position, militarily, economically, and with the humanitarian context that they need. And we continue to bear down with sanctions on Russia so that they are willing to come to this negotiation actually serious about making the peace that we want to see endure. And today we come together once again to continue and ensure that NATO over this next 76 years is a fairer institution, is a stronger institution, and is an institution that is more lethal as we deal with the threats that face us across the Euro-Atlantic area. We're united as 2 countries, and we will leave this NATO gathering of foreign ministers more united than we've been for many years in the face of the threats that face us. And of course, we continue to work together, bringing together an alliance of the willing as we focus in on an enduring peace that lasts and keeps the Euro-Atlantic area safe. It was France and the UK that came together to provide Ukraine with long-range strike capabilities needed to face down this assault from Russia. NATO is an alliance that keeps 1 billion people safe on both sides of the Atlantic, from Tottenham to Toulouse. It is the strongest and the best alliance that we have seen in the modern age. France and the UK continue to be absolutely pivotal to its success, and we will continue to work together over this period as we head and long for an enduring peace that keeps our continent safe. Thank you very much.
U.S. President Donald Trump laid out the reciprocal tariff rates that more than 180 countries and territories will face under his sweeping new trade policy. The announcement sent stocks tumbling and prompted investors to seek refuge in assets perceived to be safe. European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen said that Donald Trump's decision to impose new tariffs on all goods entering the U.S. is a major blow to the world economy. She said the new tax imports will see uncertainty spiral, causing dire consequences for millions of people around the globe. China's Commerce Ministry called for Washington to immediately cancel the tariffs, warning they endanger global economic development and would hurt U.S. interests and international supply chains. South Korea's acting president, Han Duck-soo, has vowed an all-out response as Asia's fourth biggest economy reeled from Thursday's imposition of 25% tariffs on its exports to the U.S. Han instructed senior officials to urgently address the crisis during an emergency meeting of his Economic and Security Strategy Task Force, the Yonhap news agency reported. As the situation is very grave with the approach of the reality of a global tariff war, the government must pour out all of its capabilities at its disposal to overcome this trade crisis, Han said. Japan Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba said, "Japan is a country that is making the largest amount of investment to the United States, so we wonder if it makes sense for Washington to apply uniform tariffs to all countries." Trade and Industry Minister Yoji Muto described the tariffs as extremely regrettable and said Tokyo was still attempting to persuade the Trump administration to think again. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said that although no one got a better deal than Australia, the new tariff regime was a hostile act against an ally. Italy's Giorgia Meloni, a Trump ally, said the decision was wrong, but that she would work towards a deal with the U.S. to prevent a trade war. Her Spanish counterpart Pedro Sanchez said Spain would continue to be committed to an open world, while in Ireland, Taoiseach Michael Martin said Trump's decision was deeply regrettable and benefited no one. In Latin America, its biggest economy, Brazil, approved a law in Congress on Wednesday, the Economic Reciprocity Law, to counter the 10% tariff imposed by Trump. The Foreign Ministry said it would evaluate all possible actions to ensure reciprocity in bilateral trade, including resorting to the World Trade Organization. Prime Minister of New Zealand Christopher Luxon said New Zealand had fared better, relatively, to other countries with a 10% levy, but said tariffs and trade wars were not the way to go. Canada has been exempted from the latest tariffs but still faces 25% levies on steel and aluminum, as well as on automobiles, which came into effect at midnight Eastern Time. Prime Minister Mark Carney said that he would fight these tariffs with countermeasures and build the strongest economy in the G7. Like Canada, Mexico has been exempted from the latest set of tariffs but still faces previously announced levies announced by Trump. President Claudia Sheinbaum said that the country would not pursue a tit-for-tat on tariffs, but would rather announce a comprehensive program. Taiwan's cabinet has called the tariffs very unreasonable and said it would take up the matter with the U.S. government. The Thai government said in a statement that the levies will inevitably impact all trading partners, particularly affecting American consumers' purchasing power, who may not be able to absorb the rapid price increases.